Hello, long time not seen. So, welcome to another episode of Let's Talk About. And today I would like to talk about Power BI service. So, some of you, if somebody is there, um, had some experience with Power BI service, hopefully. So, if you have, write it in the chat and let me know if you know what you can do in the Power BI service and how it works. Or if you have question about it, you can also put it in the chat if you want. And yes, let's start with first Power BI service. So, what is a Power BI service? The Power BI service is for consuming reports. I say, and the Power BI desktop is for building reports. So some of you would say, no, Catherine. I can also build my reports in a Power BI service. That's right, but I wouldn't recommend it. Why? Because you have limitations. So if you start to build a report in the Power BI service, uh, you will know. So if you have, and if not, don't do it because I don't like it. So if you have a Mac, okay, this makes sense, but you can only use the basics. So you can build, for example, a visual, but you can't create bookmarks, for example. So if you want to put some navigation into your report or some hidden filters which you can open and close, then you then you need, for example, the bookmarks. Or what else do we have? So there are some small things and big things, but the important part is I would always recommend to build the things in the Power BI desktop. So and now Power BI service. How can I enter the Power BI service? So some of you already know you need a license. So what license do we have? First, we have license per user, and then there are premium license. So what is the difference? So in the license for the users, this is, for example, the free license. In the free license, you can enter your own personal workspace. It's like your desktop, and you shouldn't share from your personal workspace because it's not so good. Think about if you work in a team and you're, I don't know, on vacation or you're ill or whatever, and nobody can enter your workspace because it's, like I said, your personal desktop. So that's why we need a personal license, which is called Pro license, Power BI Pro. And in the Pro license, you are able to share reports in new workspaces or in other workspaces in your personal workspace. And Pro license has all the basic stuff you can do in the Power BI service if it comes to sharing, if it comes to, there are so many things, but there's also a Power BI premium license. So premium per user. So it's also a user license. So what is the difference between the pro and the premium per user? So in the premium per user, you have, for example, the possibility to use iteration. So you can make a delta load in your dataset or in your semantic layer now. Um, and you can use, for example, the metrics or scorecards. You can use paginated reports. But I guess scorecards are also available in Pro now, but not the paginated reports. So there is a list on Microsoft page where you can see the differences between the licenses, what you can do in the premium per user and what you can do in the pro. And then we have the capacity, premium capacity. This is a capacity not per user, so it's a capacity for your environment, which means you can put a premium capacity under your whole Power BI service. This is one option. So you can use one premium capacity for your whole tenant, or you can say, okay, I have a concept for test, dev, and prod, and only the prod workspaces get the premium license. Because what is so good about this premium license capacity, it's that your users don't need a pro license anymore for viewing. So if it comes to my user has a pro license and we don't have a premium capacity, then every user need a pro license to read reports. And this could be a bit annoying. And also it could cost you a bit more. So there's a break-even point where you can calculate when it's better to use a premium capacity and only give your developers a pro license, or you buy a pro license for the whole company. Now, there's another thing about the license. If you have already E5 Office in your company, you don't need a pro license anymore separately because it's included. So in the E3, you have the free license included, but not the pro. And in the E5, you have the pro license for Power BI included, and the free license, of course. But yes, so this is a licensing system. Hopefully, you are not totally confused now. But yeah, so it needs a bit time to understand it. And we have a question. So let's see. So is it possible to dynamically change report title when moving a report through dev, test, and production pipelines based on the workspace? That's a very good question. So I know there is a possibility to change the environments per parameters. So if you have a semantic layer now, it's not a dataset anymore. I have to remember. So you can put in a parameter to change very easy the environment to test, dev, and prod. But if you can change the title of a report based on this, I would not say no, because I guess there will be a possibility to do this. So there's 100% a workaround, I guess. So don't ask me how in the moment, but I could search for it, and in the next let's talk about Power BI, I could answer these questions maybe. So then we have another comment for the licensings. Yes. I think the breakpoint is having more than 500 employees. We also counted and we come to 350. So because the licensing is a bit expensive, it's cost a bit more than last year. So maybe a recalculation could be good. Maybe. But yeah, it depends also on the on the price you get from your Microsoft account. So if you are a big company and you have a lot of people, then maybe the price is a bit smaller because you have so many Microsoft products already in place. Could be. So ask your Microsoft accountant if you are an enterprise. And now let's come to our Power BI service workspaces. So what is a workspace? A workspace is a place where you can put in many artifacts. For example, let's start with the data thingies. First, we have the data marts. I guess you already heard from them. So you can combine data flows and data sets or semantic layer in it. Then we have the data sets or semantic layer now. These cards are a bit older, so sorry, didn't updated it. Then we have the data flows, which also can transform data and load data into a data set, and then you can use it in the report. Then we have the, let me see, the report, which is based, for example, on a data flow or a data set or a data mart. Very easy, very, very easy. Then we have the paginated report. So some of you heard of it. You can use a paginated report also as visual in a report directly. So you can put a paginated report in a report. Sounds crazy, but it's possible. And then we have, let me see, an Excel workbook, which can be Excel workbook from, I don't know, from any Excel you have, or it could be also from a data set. That means you can analyze you can analyze your data set in Excel, and then you can upload it upload it to the Power BI workspace again. And then you can, for example, pin it on a dashboard. It's really cool. So you can do many things in the Power BI workspace, and there are, yeah, now we have Fabric. There are also more artifacts in your workspace, but these are the regular things you need for Power BI and which are general available and in production. That's very important because the Fabric items or artifacts are not a GA now. So we have the Ignite in 2 days, I guess. So take a look there. Maybe there will be some announcements. I don't know. Maybe not. And let me show you the next card. So we have also the Power BI apps, which are based on. Let me search. So Power BI app could be include a report or a paginated report or an Excel. And I guess that's it. So if you want, you can publish a Power BI app for your whole organization, which I would recommend if you have many users who should get this report. So they can go into the Power BI apps and download it, very simple. And yes, these are the elements you can all put into this app and share with your users. And there's also the possibility to put a separate security on your Power BI apps if you want. Okay, so now next one, metrics or scorecards. Some of you remember name changing is very common thing in Power BI or Microsoft Word. What can you do with metrics? You can, based on a data set, you can create metrics or scorecards. And I didn't use it very often. And I have to say, so in Germany, it's not a very common thing to use these. I guess it's more a, I don't know, US thing. But not many customers use these ones. And then we have the deployment pipeline, which is very popular because you can combine it with Azure DevOps. So if you want to have a dev, test, and prod environment or workspace, you can, for example, use these deployment pipelines to put your report and data set from one workspace into another. So in a simple way, so explaining in a simple way, right? And then we have the gateways. Gateways are very important. So if you have, for example, on-premises data sources, you will need a gateway because otherwise you can't upload the data. If you have, for example, Excel files, not in OneDrive, so really on a desktop somewhere on a server, you need a gateway to upload the data into your data set or semantic layer. And also, if you have, for example, SQL Server on premises, you need these enterprise gateways. And the machine on which these gateways are is normally at the data source. And the machine should run 24/7 so that the data can be uploaded regularly on a regular base. So, for example, once a day or twice a day, and so on. So, and now let's take a look into the Power BI service directly. So how does it look? So we have some minutes left. This is my personal workspace. You see here, this is my workspace. And you see here some reports, you see some Excel files. So it's Excel. So it does look like Excel online. And this is really cool because you can, for example, use it from your data set and do a little forecast in it, and then you can pin it on a dashboard. I think this is very smart and helpful. So you see my Power BI service don't like me today, but doesn't matter. And then there are other things. For example, if I want to look into my storage, so how many gigabyte I have for my workspace left, so I can see it here. So if you go on the settings and go on manage personal storage, you can see it there. This is also possible for all the workspaces you have in Power BI. Yeah, thanks. I know you didn't open it. So, okay. And if we go, for example, to another workspace and then we see what is the group storage here, you see owned by us is this one, and it's not very full. So, yes. um, then we have here, you see the metrics. I told you already. You see here, these are like KPI cards. And yeah, as I said, I have some demos here, but yeah, we didn't use them very often. So, and we have some comments here. Let me see. We have the app requires more flexibility and development, particularly in design. While creating it for my company, I faced design challenges and had to implement tricks to meet the requirements. Yes, this is a very common thing. So don't panic. I know these. So yeah, everyone have to struggle with it. Nothing is easy in Power BI, I would say. So you have to know what you do, right? But it's like in every tool. So you know you have to know what you do. Otherwise, it don't work. And then we have the monitoring hub. So you can see here, this is very cool. It's not that long that you can see this. So you can see here my semantic model or data set, and I can see if it's successfully, is the status successfully. So if the upload correctly, or do I have some errors, then I can go here and can check my history of refreshes, and maybe my gateway is down and that's why I can't see it here. It's very good. And then we have here the apps. So if you want to have an app from your company, you can go on Get Apps. And if you have the right permissions for these apps, you can go here and then you can click on it, Get Now, and then it will installing the app. And then you can go in and you can check out these apps if you want. The first thing I do in a company where I have a project, I go into the app and take a look into the existing apps because this is very interesting. There you can see if you have already, for example, a style guide, or you have a design structure already in place. And most of the reports are so different. It's unbelievable. But yeah, so if you want to see your design style guides, maybe you have one, take a look in the app and let inspire yourself. Then we have the One Lake Data Hub, in which we see our semantic layers, or aka datasets. And you can also see here we can put in sensitivity label or endorsements. This is very cool. So if you are a user and you don't know if this dataset or a semantic layer is good to go, so I can put a report on it, you can see it on the endorsements. So if it's used in your company, if not, then you will see nothing. Also sensitivity label, very interesting. If you have, for example, Azure Information Protection, AEP, in place, you can use these confidential or sensitivity labels here directly. So if you use, for example, Excel, which is already confidential labeled, it will show also in Power BI. So the label will go with it. So it's inherited. Yes. That's really cool. Then we can also browse if I want. I can create, as I said, you can pick a data set, but you have not much more possibilities here. So if you want to combine, for example, SAP data with SQL data with Excel data, it could be a bit different because I can only pick here my data set. This is already existing. So if you have in a company data sets which are good to go, maybe this is a good possibility, but for this, as you heard, and as I mentioned, you need something. And the last thing is the home area, in which you can put in a nice little design on top. And there you can see here, for example, my recommended reports. This is also a feature which your admin has to put in place, otherwise you won't see it. You have also here some things like recent favorites, my apps, and from external orgs, if you have some. And yeah, I guess this time we had, I had a bit more to say, so that's why we are with 20 minutes here. But I hope it was interesting and you learned a bit, maybe. Let me know in the comments. I will read it. And thank you that you joined my call, my session. And we will see us in 2 weeks, then on Monday again. And maybe you have questions, and we will see what topic we will talk about next time. So thank you and have a nice day. Bye bye.